Michael Penix Jr., rough national title game performance, but what a season he had. 94.7 offensive grade, third in the FBS, 7.5 big time throw percentage, 1.6 turnover worthy play percentage, a 10.9 yard average depth of target, and he was sacked 11 times and had an 8.0 pressure to sack percentage. And erasing the board here, he also had a 70.3 grade under pressure and had the second highest big time throw percentage while under pressure, seventh lowest turnover worthy play percentage, and a 15.6 yard average depth of target, which was fourth. But he had 30 throwaways, which was tied for second most among quarterbacks. Despite the numbers and the accolades, he's still not considered a top 3 quarterback for next year's draft. Because of that, I gotta investigate. Does this film back up his numbers? And more importantly, does he deserve to be a first round pick? A top 10 pick? Let's take a look at the film and break Penix down trait by trait. First off, aggressive plus accurate. Penix has a remarkable ability to deliver passes into extremely tight spots, combining confidence, anticipation, and accuracy. Washington bunches up on the strong side, 2 over routes and 1 receiver to the flat, trying to test the Boise State linebackers. Both backers drop into hook zones, coupled with a couple deep defenders over the top, and everyone stays disciplined. Penix reaches the end of his drop, and if you look here, there's not a lot of separation down the field, but he still rips this one to the backside receiver, right over the linebacker's head, places it behind the receiver as he sees the safety trying to jump the route. Perfect timing, immaculate confidence, big time throw into a tight window, NFL level stuff. Later on in the same game, 2x2 tight to the formation, we got quarters on the strong side. Washington draws up a go from the slot and an out and up for the perimeter receiver, targeting the boundary DB. That corner is responsible for number 2, and the slot corner drops into a zone, watching for any intermediate outbreaking routes. Penix processes all this and is able to fit the pass in between the underneath zone and the deep corner. Again, impressive confidence, great timing. If he throws this a second later after the DB passes off the number 2 receiver, this gets picked. Penix puts it right on the money. Free play here versus Cal. Ball is snapped. Penix sees the single high safety, looks left so that he can go back right and throw to his number 1 receiver. Look at where the receiver is once the ball is thrown. Not open, but QB puts it in a great spot, throws Odunze open to the sideline. He consistently throws receivers open, and that is an immensely valuable trait. 2x2 formation again. Arizona is going to man up on the strong side. Top receiver runs a go, and the bottom receiver runs a wheel route. Penix sees the outside corner chase the inside go and works to the wheel. No hesitation, he puts this ball up, knowing it's not an easy completion, trusts his receiver, and again, elite ball placement. He was doing all this in his sophomore season as well. Versus Oregon, cover 4 look, X-receiver running a curl on the sideline. Versus this cover 4, since the quarter field safety is responsible for the inside receiver as well, there will be a small hole in between the zones on the sideline, known as the honey hole. Very difficult throw to make. Look at when Penix releases this. I mean, he's got the goods. And now his ability to read plus react. Penix has great mental processing and does a good job of going through his reads and taking what the defense gives him. 3rd and 10 versus Arizona, less than a minute left in the half, so the Wildcats are basically in a prevent defense. Washington runs go routes across the board. Most of the time, QBs will just wait and heave a Hail Mary, but not here. Penix is clever enough to notice the cushion the strong side corner is giving and attacks the space, puts this pass behind the receiver, allowing him to catch it uncontested and get out of bounds. Savvy move. 2x2 formation, single high safety look. Washington draws up vertical routes. Penix starts his drop back by opening his hips to the strong side, getting the safety to shift over, and then as the weak side slot gets past the linebacker, he knows he can fit the ball in before the safety gets over. This is an NFL level diagnosis and delivery. On the strong side stack, Washington runs a corner plus post concept, so they're targeting the safeties. 2 high look pre-snap, but the strong side safety is going to drop down. As he drops, he loses the necessary depth to match the deep post, so really Penix can throw to either receiver here. It's impressive how quickly he processed here and how he immediately let go of this ball as the safety moved up. This is something that I didn't see much from Bo Nix during his film session. Single high safety look from Boise State, in route and a post over the top inside from Washington. Again, Penix needs to read the safety here. He bites on the in route, which opens up the deep post. Penix reads all this, executes the play, and Washington gets a long touchdown. And here against Oregon, cover 3 look, double post off the fake screen from the Huskies. Perfect call versus this coverage. Penix fakes right, adjusts his feet, sees the safety move, and rips a strike over the middle. Another calm, cool, and smooth rep. Anticipation. This is the trait that made many fall in love with Bryce Young last year, a QB's ability to throw guys open. We've already seen this highlighted in a couple clips today, but let's look at some more. 3rd and 11 versus Oregon in his sophomore season. He's got Odunze on an out route to the sticks. Look at when he decides to throw this ball. The receiver isn't even out of his break yet. These are the kind of throws you have to be able to make on a consistent basis to be successful at the next level. Penix can make them. Manipulating defenses. On top of throwing with anticipation, he can also get guys open by using his body and movement in the pocket. Play action here working right. Penix squares off his shoulders to the right side of the play. As he notices the congestion downfield, he flips his shoulders back to the left sideline and throws a strike. He made it really difficult for the zone defenders to read him and got his team a nice first down. Throwing under pressure. Penix isn't the type of QB to scramble around and extend plays, but he always knows where to get rid of the ball once pressure gets to him. He gets to the last step of his drop here. Linebacker comes in at full speed. Quick reaction from Penix, and he puts this ball up for his receiver in a one-on-one. Pretty good ball, but also good coverage. A lot of QBs would have shelled up here. It's impressive how Penix stood in there and gave his receiver a chance to make a play. And there was a similar play to this in the Texas game. Quick flick and a big gain. Against Cal, penetration is going to come from the interior again as Penix is dropping in the pocket. Somehow he is able to lob up a pass between the safeties and find Odunze deep in the middle of the field. Really good anticipation and nice touch on the ball. Now looking at the negatives, he is a bit on the thinner side at 213 and obviously has a rough injury history. He isn't really a playmaker or a guy that throws off platform often, but his film overall is solid. He has his style of play and he's got some really good traits that suit it. But he can be over aggressive at times. A little bit nitpicky, but it does show up. And on these plays, you can sort of see these negatives come out. On this snap, he doesn't look as smooth once he's forced to extend the play. Throws this ball up into traffic and it gets picked. His play definitely drops once he's out of structure, and that's one of the reasons why he was second in the FBS in throwaways this season. Another play where his targets are covered up off the snap. He's forced out of the pocket and throws into coverage again. He's not Caleb Williams. You got to keep him in structure and allow him to distribute to playmakers. Overall, Michael Penix has some of the best film in this class. He has a solid arm, solid release, reads defenses well, and knows how to manipulate coverages. He throws with really good anticipation and consistently throws his guys open. He can quickly audible if pressure gets to him and has a knack for knowing where the pressure is coming from and where the hole in the defense is. He has an aggressive mindset and can deliver the ball to all areas of the field while also being smart with the football and keeping it out of harm's way. Has solid touch on downfield passes, but he has a slim frame and a history of injuries. He struggles to make plays out of structure and doesn't like getting hit, which leads to a good amount of throwaways. You put him in a vertical offense with speedy receivers, he will produce. I think he can elevate the level of an offense, but needs a strong play caller and a good cast around him. Looking at his national title game performance, I try not to put too much into it. The offense as a whole didn't look good. I think Penix held up fairly well. Crucial drop passes in the fourth and holding calls ended up killing the Huskies. As far as his value, I think he's for sure a first-round pick. He's got loads of talent. His injury history will likely be seen as a problem, though, by most teams, and his medicals will be looked at closely. Off just pure talent, he could easily be a top 10 pick. He's approaching a star ranking. So those are my thoughts on Michael Penix. Let me know what you think about him in the comments and who you want to see in the next video. That's all from me, and I'm out.